sun's finally peeking out. Let's see if we can brighten your day here with some new rules for relationships, because the rules are changing these days, always changing, on everything from arguing to having sex.
We want to make sure you're current on the rules. So this time with our He Said, She Said treatment, Dr. Logan Levkoff, author of the upcoming book, How to Get Your Wife to Have Sex with You, and Joe Levy, editor-in-chief of Maxim magazine.
Get right to the point.
Are here to weigh in.
What's that book about?
Earmuffs, kids, earmuffs. What's your magazine about?
And that's why you're both here today.
Absolutely.
So let's take a look at some of these rules that are changing. Some are changing because the landscape has changed. Cutting off contact with your exes.
Very hard to do these days.
Hard to do because of things like Facebook, Twitter. It's very easy to be a voyeur. 75% of women admit to peeking at their ex's profile. 34% of men say they are totally against their significant other friending someone.
Right. So men are a little bit insecure about their female partners, you know,
tremendously insecure. It's not a little bit. We're very insecure. We are. We're very insecure.
At least you admit it. That's a really good thing.
And you know what? Pay attention to us and our insecurities, and we'll be very loyal. We're like dogs that way.
But this whole idea that you have a relationship with someone, then you have to break it off. If we broke it off, it's for a reason, and we're not really interested in getting back together with you. But
so nothing to worry about then.
Definitely nothing to worry about.
Just because you want to look doesn't mean that you want to go any further than that.
Definitely.
Maybe you're curious. Maybe you want to make sure that you made out better.
That curiosity, yes, you did. If you're moving on, you made out better. There's a reason you broke up. Pay attention to that. It's too easy to be in contact. Of course, if you're already platonic friends, if the relationship is a while ago, maybe it's okay.
But social media gives you these networks where oftentimes your friends are friendly anyway with your exes, so it's really hard to get away from them.
And the spider web gets even more sticky that way. That's my point. If you're moving on, move on. And the best way to do it, make a clean break. That's how you know.
I would say just be secure and you know.
It is kind of ridiculous, though, when you think about how the rules have changed, because the one thing that you hear now, even, people, I'm going to say people my age, in their 40s, are like, oh, so-and-so, yeah, we broke up, and they defriended me from Facebook right away. I'm just like, why is that even in the conversation?
Why is it even an issue?
But even think about the context. A relationship isn't always just an emotional relationship. Sometimes it's just about sex. So the idea that you can never be friends with anyone you had any kind of encounter with seems silly.
That actually brings up another interesting point I think we wanted to touch on about sex. No strings attached sex, sort of a one-night stand. It used to be that could never go anywhere. Is that still the rule?
Well, it's not. Apparently it's not. And yet I'm a little old-fashioned about this. The question is, what do you want? Do you want a relationship, or do you want what they call on Craigslist a casual encounter?
And this is the other disclaimer. Stay away from Craigslist.
Right, and we're not recommending that. I think it's certainly possible that this whole idea that we have to wait till a certain time or have a certain kind of relationship in order to get what we want physically seems silly to me. And besides, do you really want someone in your life for a long period of time who's going to judge you just because you had sex early on anyway in a casual
There's a difference between early on and no strings attached. Seriously, no strings attached. It says no strings, no attachment. And all relationships start with that spark of physical attraction. But a spark and an inferno are two different things. If you start with a spark and build it up slowly, it's going to last longer. But, I'm just saying.
Well, but can it work, though? Can you have no strings attached? Because, we saw in the movie theaters this summer for Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis, it didn't work.
If they could
blossom into a relationship.
It did blossom into a relationship. And it's important. And the key, I think, is just speaking up for what you want. If you just want sex for this period of time, then that works for you. But the minute it starts to change, then you need to acknowledge it. The problem is we have such a bad language when it comes to sex and relationships.
Because we don't talk about it.
We don't talk about it. We're afraid to. We're afraid of being judged.
Well, we're trying to change that with your help.
Yes.
The two of you this morning. So there you go. Now discuss amongst yourselves. Sex. Have a discussion today.
Exactly. It is great.
That'll make it popular at the office.
It is great breakfast time talk. Just get it out of the way before you leave the house for work in the morning. Not the sex, the talking.
That would be nice.
You know what?
Talking.
Either.
Both.
It's okay. It's a great way to start the day. Talking or
discussion and time together. Logan, Joe, nice to have both of you with us.
Sure.
Or you could just skip the talking.